In a world where information seems to travel at the speed of light and traffic at a snail's pace, where the agenda of those at the helm doesn't always reflect the pressures on the streets, where the rubber hits the road, where there's queue of issues needing to be interrogated in the name of speaking truth to power.
Welcome to a place at the table,
where we set the agenda,
table the issues that matter to you,
and invite you to take a seat at the table.
Welcome to a place at the table. Today isn't business as usual, and so I present to you Justice in a Reimagined Nigeria.
Justice, where you see her, the one with the buy or the one with the share. A reimagined Nigeria today, not today. I want us to face reality and live to hustle another day. I'll be sharing tips on how to deal with the frustrations in the land, either motherland or fatherland.
Dealing with frustrations for how long? Gbenga says we should learn how to deal with the frustrations in the land. Well, as for me, Peter, for Nigeria, I say we must all wake up and save ourselves. What do you say, Elsie?
Amy, I too am dealing with frustration, Neil. In fact, I am so frustrated, I have written a letter to the Corporate Affairs Commission about their online portal and titled it, Dear CAC, this isn't transformation, it is frustration.
No. Frustration indeed. Elsie, you're stuck in between two Gbengas. I really hope someone responds to your letter of frustration. Perhaps you should take a leaf out of the Trump book if you want some action. Just tweet or make a few comments and they will get to work. I'll be tackling President Trump's threat to go all guns blazing in Nigeria if we don't get our acts together with regards to insecurity.
Well, someone had to raise that issue, Gbenga. I'm glad you're the one. And as I said earlier, it certainly isn't business as usual at the table today. In Gbenga's words, today not today. Religion is the opium of the people, says Karl Marx. The core of that assertion is that religion numbs the pain of poverty and oppression by offering an illusion of comfort and hope. It promises a place in the afterlife for the faithful and is a distraction in disguise for the oppressed. The oppressors here are the elites, the ruling class, the capitalists, and those governing religious monuments. So this is about justice, accountability, and moral hypocrisy within Nigeria's religious and judicial systems. Religion, when unregulated and fanaticized, enables abuse and shields wrongdoers from justice. Last week, a video made the rounds online. A young mother with a child living with cerebral palsy recounted how her husband took them to a church where a pastor turns the hapless boy upside down, claiming to exorcise a demon. The boy's father has since abandoned mother and child to their fate. The pastor remains unaccountable, his crime unpunished, and more people are still vulnerable to his deceit. How do victims of pastoral negligence get justice? Is that pastor registered with any association? If so, are there no internal processes to deter such occurrences in the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, and the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, PFN? In the United States, clergy abuse victims actively pursue civil lawsuits against churches and religious organizations. In June this year, a Louisiana jury awarded a $2.4 million in first clergy abuse verdict under state's retroactive look-back law. There is organized religion in Nigeria. It's just that humanity is yet to replace fanaticism. And I have a string of what-ifs for us as a pious collective. I imagine a justice system that truly serves citizens, where cases conclude in weeks, not years, due to endless adjournments. By now, the state will have defended the young mother. The pastor will be serving a jail term. Imagine a Nigeria where faith inspires compassion and justice is swift and blind to power, where justice, not blind faith, governs society. In my reimagined Nigeria, that boy's father too will not escape his responsibilities. So justice will no longer be a miracle, but a right.
When pastors and churches started flooding Rwanda, Paul Kagame only did one thing. Set up an institute to certify and license every religious organization and religious leaders.
That's true.
As long as you don't go through that institute, the curriculum, you bring it, no problem, bring your curriculum, you know, but the monitoring lies on them. Many churches were shut down. In fact, some of them were given time to leave the country. Just a few years ago, you know. In fact, many churches will tell you that they are not part of CAN or PFN.
Yes.
They will tell you that. They will tell you that they get their license from somewhere.
It's optional.
It's optional. So I think it is time. Either CAN and PFN, we include that regulation and monitoring into their acts or their policies. I don't know. Or maybe there will be a different body that will be doing that because it's getting too much. Secondly, man, the literacy level of Nigerians is low. It's low. When you go to any place listen, miracles are just for attraction and intervention. Miracle is not a system that you live by. When you are preaching to me, either with Quran or with Isheshe or with the Bible, I sit down and check what you have said. Is it true or not? But in Nigeria, especially when they don't have problem, and I rad up to say this, it is because the failure of our government is clear, like crystal clear. That is why people are running after religion. Because somebody who is having kidney problem or cancer believe that God heals, there are miracles. But I'm saying it is a country that will go to TV stations and radio stations to be raising money to treat somebody that has ulcer.
We need to begin to love ourselves. Nigerians don't, as religious as we are, we don't even follow godly. Christ. Thank you. We don't even follow the Christ teaching for Christians, for even Muslims. The Quran says that you should be able to take care of ourselves, right? The Bible says the same thing. Love your neighbor as yourself. If that is the basis of how we interact with each other, cases like this that come up, we have justice for China going on now. There's so many things that happen in our environment that we end up spotlighting some, and a lot go under the cracks, right? It means that myself, I will not be comfortable seeing my neighbor uncomfortable. Everybody here, those watching, it will become a culture, because if you see someone being oppressed, you must speak up. But we've got to a point where speaking up is luxury. You don't speak up except it is affecting you directly, or it is affecting somebody close to you, or a family member. In fact, we have got to a point where even our leaders respond to certain issues when it directly affects people that are around them. The value of life is now very fickle, and we are arguing it is how many Muslims have died over. Do you understand what it means for one life?
People are dying. Sanctity of life.
You know, so love, empathy. I don't want to say we live like animals, but that's what it looks like right now. We don't care anymore. And that is why our justice system has degenerated to what it is now. Because I don't believe it's religion that will give us justice. We're on earth, even the Bible, read it very well. The Bible is a book that can even help you set up the structure of your country.
Psalms 82.
Right? Thank you. So there is justice in the Bible. And people that have been given a responsibility to administer justice for the people have to rise up and forget about whatever bed they are entering right now and begin to do their job.
Because in the wake of the Anambra State government shutting down some shrines and Ezenwines and Dibias, they also came out to scream that, look, we're also going to mention some of the pastors that come to us for power. So everybody is involved in this. And you can't point fingers if you're also guilty. But this is a topic that I'm very passionate about, and I wish we had time, because people don't speak about the damage this can do. You can't just leave human beings to their own devices. And I'm happy that Gbenga mentioned the case of Paul Kagame in Rwanda. He said, Rwanda is a blessed nation. We are not just going to allow all this proliferation of religious houses. There has to be certain guidelines. And I'm sure you're on social media. You see the way they've bastardized and reduced the Christian faith to almost something of a comic relief. You see a 2-year-old doing his hand like this, and people are, imagine the corruption. You have all these baby pastors doing this, and You know, what you've done to that child to make him come out in the open to tell lies. You see people stretching hands and saying this is a miracle. You see, I mean, it's almost very comical what we're seeing. President Obasanjo stopped the live broadcast of miracles on TV when he was president. He said this ridiculousness needs to stop because government needs to step up because there are consequences for this. In Akwa Ibom State, there's this fantastic Danish woman. She started a charity, the Land of Hope. Her name is Anja Loven. She just started taking children off the streets of Akwa Ibom that have been banished by their own parents. You brought somebody into this life and a pastor tells you your child is evil. You drive a nail through the child's head and you abandon the child on the street to die. It's a full-fledged orphanage now.
Why can't you chase that evil out of the child?
Yes, so we need to really step up as a country and tell ourselves some home truths and really find a way to regulate some of this religious organizations, both Christian and Muslim, because they are margarine scourge too is something that we shouldn't be dealing with.
Anything that does not have accountability and regulation creates a system of lawlessness. Religion in itself came to Africa through the West. And today, the religion helped to build the West that we see today. So how did the religion in Africa metamorphose into creating insecurity, poverty? It is actually because there is a disconnect between what a lot of African religious people are inherently very, self-absorbing to the extent that we outsource learning to religious figures. If you study and understand the scriptures for yourself, you are less, fanatical or dogmatic, because what a man of God is explaining to you is not necessarily the word of God. It is his understanding of the word of God. An interpretation. The Bible says, the Psalm where he quoted 82 verse 6, say, ye are gods, ye sons of the Most High God. So the earth is supposed to have been, led and transformed by men to build systems that work to give justice, because if God does not even run the world by miracles, he runs it by principles. So for us to keep waiting for God to perform miracles for us is irresponsibility. You are calling on God to fix a system that he created you to fix. So miracles would not help us until we come together and fix institutions, to even regulate religious institutions.
Change doesn't just come from nowhere. It starts in our imagination.
I hear you, Funke. Let's start by imagining ourselves making it through to 2026 in one piece. As I was thinking about different issues in our land, I was almost overwhelmed until I read a beautiful piece about dealing with frustrated Nigerians by Oladipo Akinremi. Then I made up my mind this day to share with us how to avoid or manage the frustrations in our land. Here are various real-life scenarios to make my point. 1. 2 men were involved in a road rage on the ever-busy Nyanya Road in Abuja. One brushed the other unintentionally. The fellow whose car was brushed pursued the other fellow, blocked him, came out of his car with his wheel spanner and commenced to break the headlamp of the other fellow. The other man refused to come out of his car, allowed the man in utter rage to satisfy himself and drove off. Wisdom. It might probably cost him 100,000 naira or more, but he is still alive. A staff of the National Assembly, in an attempt to avoid knocking down an Okada rider who was driving against the traffic, ran his car into a stationary vehicle. He came out of his car and engaged the cyclist in a hot argument. Unknown to him, the cyclist was armed with a knife, with which he stabbed the motorist to death and rode away. 3. A man brushed a woman's car, came out and apologized, but she refused to accept the apology and called her husband, who is a military man, whilst on the road waiting for the husband's arrival. A big truck came from nowhere and bulldozed both the woman and the crowd that gathered to watch. Husband came and only met the wife's dead body. This happened along Nyanya Maraba Road in Abuja. Hey, there is so much anger, rage, mental trauma, and lawlessness in the country right now. As much as possible, avoid arguments with strangers or even friends because you don't know what the other person is going through. Don't allow it to degenerate into scuffle or violence. School fees is there. House rent is there. Now that they are renting 1-bedroom flat for 2.5 million naira, that one is there. Hospital bill is there. Different things. So, my friend, increase the level of your emotional intelligence and resilience. Manage your problems, but avoid troubles.
Very, very important. I remember when I was in university, when I was abroad, when you're going out, even when you're traveling, you hardly hear people say safe journey. It's in Nigeria that when you go out and come back home,
because that journey is safe already before you go.
You need prayers.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
It's a testimony
and
that you
and the scenarios you shared are just real life examples of everything that could go wrong. And what's the reason for that? A lot of people are carrying a lot of psychological trauma. We live in almost a lawless state. And even when injustice is done to you, you need to give Nigerian policemen mobilization fee to fill their cars for justice to be served.
No, you have to buy biro and paper for them to write
a statement. So that's just a microcosm of the sort of issues we're dealing with as a people. Nigeria, I'm sorry to say, I'm a very patriotic Nigerian, but we live in a highly dysfunctional society and something must be done about it. It's almost like we need a hard reset and we need to tell ourselves some hard truths. When you're critical of the government, they say, you know, Nigerian problems didn't start today, let's fix it. But we need to come home and everyone has failed because we're Nigerians. And that failure, I'm also part of that failure because we're Nigerian political class is not just, where did they come from? They didn't come from heaven. They are part of the system of, they're not Senegalese, exactly. They are part of this country that we have all built. So we have a duty and responsibility as individuals to be good ambassadors and to call out bad behavior wherever we see it. If you see somebody jump in the queue in an airport, don't allow it. If you see law enforcement misbehaving, record it. We need to stand up for our rights.
Well, for me, Nigerians are dealing with a lot at the moment, but we must not forget that at the end of the day, you are responsible for your own well-being. The Yoruba say, "Ti diba baje to ni dilonda." If anything happens to you, people are going to say, oh, sorry, wish you well. But you are the one who will deal with the consequences of, or the effects of whatever it is with you. Gbenga has used storytelling to illustrate road rage in Nigeria today. And the road rage is not because the roads are terrible all the time, but because people are venting. They are looking for places to unburden their anger at bad governance, their anger at dealing with different issues that Nigeria makes us deal with every day. I asked a young lady who just opened a beauty salon yesterday how much it costs for just one room space to do beauty, to just do lashes. She said it's 800K a year and she had to pay for 2 years. In other parts of Lagos, she said to me, they will ask you for 5 years. So you see somebody who is dealing with where to raise money to just one room, didn't have any adjoining room. And I looked at this young girl, you know, this young lady, having to deal with, I can't go to a better place than this because they're going to ask me for 5-year rent for an office. If you don't give it, somebody else will give it. So you're there, you're in your car, in whatever mode of transportation, and you're just angry.
Trying to process all of that.
And anybody who comes your way, you want to transfer the aggression, you know, transfer the frustrations to that person. But we must understand that anger does not birth anything great.
I think that Nigerians do not understand that bad governance does not exist in a vacuum. We as citizens are the collateral for bad leadership, and you are beneficiaries of good leadership. The level of dysfunctionality in your institutions and system automatically translates to the quality of life and how we relate with one another. Because even when, for example, he says, if you see someone who wants to jump a queue, you should say no to that. Imagine when it is the officials who should maintain the queue who facilitate jumping the queue. When you who tries to do something that is orderly becomes the abnormal person. In a place where there is so much injustice, people of integrity are seen as the problem. And that is why Nigeria has gotten to where it has gotten to. So you see a lot of people, the frustration. Look at a police officer. How much is your salary? You talked about you as the person going to buy the paper to write your own, petition or statement. Even the police officers are the ones who buy their uniforms. Look at their barracks. Even poultries sometimes are better. Now imagine such a person with a firearm on the road, and you are telling them to protect the state, a state that has given him nothing to be comfortable from. So he's not doing it from a place of patriotism. It is rather a means to an end. So that weapon is to go there and help yourself. If you fail to fix the systems, Nigerians, go to prisons and see how people who committed crimes are regretting. Some of them, it was that rush. I wish I did not do it. As human beings, we appeal to ourselves to be conscious. Try to, work on your rate, because you will bear the consequence of your action. But as a people, we must fix the system to make us happier and better.
A clear example of how we behave irrationally is the use of horn. Actually, you see this Lagos State, the use of horn is frustrating. Even the ones you would see, they can see what is happening in front.
Even when it's not needed.
Someone is turning. I'm like, what is the problem? But again, it's a result of this frustration you've talked about. And I will just amplify what you have said in terms of how we can manage ourselves. Regardless of what is going on, every one of us on this table, we're also facing the same issues in the country. Your peace and choice to have a better mental health is absolutely in your hands. It's a decision you have to make.
Yes.
When people say being happy is a choice, it actually really is a choice.
It is.
So you have to ask yourself, what part of this community do I want to belong? Do I want to be part of the normal people that, unfortunately, like you have said, are tagged as the abnormal people? Do I want to be part of the sanity, or do I want to be part of the chaos? Because we begin to see a lot of people unconsciously fall into the part of the chaos, right? I know all of us, the man. Show me, I will show you. But where does that take us? Do you get so I believe that this is very important. I know that sometimes when we want to do advocacy, we think it has to be something really grand and serious, but these issues that touch the core of our existence is very important. Let's remind ourselves to take it easy. We know the issues, we talk about them every day, but still be very intentional in taking this easy and just think about the next person. You are
not alone. Somebody's also dealing with a lot and managing it.
We've heard the saying, live to fight another day. Put another way. Na person wey see sunrise fit hustle.
Person wey see sunrise na fit hustle, my brother. As my sister would say, we are all victims waiting to happen. Victimhood is at the door of all citizens, which is why I am saying, fellow Nigerians, it don't do for talk. It's time to save ourselves. Since independence in 1960, Nigeria as a nation has had its fair share of challenges, ranging from a bloody civil war to different military dictatorships up until the return to democratic rule in 1999, being its fourth republic. However, having celebrated 26 years in quote of uninterrupted democracy, the questions continue to linger. What exactly are the benefits of democracy as reflected in the quality of life and in the welfare of the people? Is the situation even more desperate today than it was years back, with different social challenges, issues of insecurity and unemployment, hunger, inflation, and all of the social ills and vices that are being seen? What exactly has been the progress made over the years? Has Nigeria made progress in terms of building its human capital, especially when put side by side with the kind of human capital and natural resources that the country has? What exactly could be the Nigerian problem? Is it a problem of leadership or followership? A lot of Nigerians complain to be oppressed by their leaders, but the question will be, leadership, they say, is always a reflection of the followers. So are Nigerians accomplices in their own oppression? And if so, what exactly is the way forward? And how do Nigerians navigate ourselves out of this quagmire? Do Nigerians have a track record of picking bad leaders? Or rather, is it the bad leaders that have mastered the way of hijacking power and holding on to it perpetually and blocking the way for good people to access public office. What should the citizens do about this? I ask these questions not because I believe I have all the answers, but because I believe the answer ultimately lies with us as the citizens. When all is said and done, my message to us is this: fellow Nigerians, my dear compatriots, we must wake up and save ourselves.
I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday, and we talked about how human beings are not created to lead themselves. They are always leaders.
Yes.
And that's why there's supposed to be a process and a system to pick out
those
leaders. Right?
I mean,
and then those leaders, when you come forth to say, I want to be the governor, or I want to be the local government chairman, or councillor, whatever it is, you are taking on a responsibility to cater for my quality of life and the welfare of the people, like you've mentioned. Nobody forced you to come out to say, I am the leader. In fact, you campaigned to say you are the best person to do this job. Which was why last week when we were having a conversation and I was talking about Lagos roads and how uncomfortable it is, right? And one of the panelists said, oh, he was pretty much holding brief for Lagos State, that is a lot to govern Lagos State, you know. And my question is, why are you making these excuses?
With less than 3,000 square kilometers.
Why are you making these excuses? Because the man who is the governor at the moment and all the governors we have had, I don't think there's ever a time that we ever held a rally and carried something in somebody's house and say, please now, come and be our governor now. I don't think that has ever happened.
Exactly.
Right? You came out.
Of your own volition.
So whether the job is simple, nobody said leadership is simple. I mean, to avoid dragging this long, I would say that leadership is where our problem is.
Yes.
I always talk to the people, even people around me, myself. I talk to myself. I've done an advocacy about civil servants, right? And we speak through to power, we speak to everybody. However, leaders must take responsibilities to what's the word now? To steer the course of the nation. You cannot just think that things will fall in line because human beings gathered in one region and then it's working. That's not how it works. There has to be someone or some group of people who steer the course. Now, the question is, the people leading us now, where are they steering us to?
I became active in Nigerian politics in 2011. And I'm going to tell you this for free. There's something in us. You see, I keep on talking about DNA. Godliness with contentment is a great game. There is something about us that is greedy, that is self-centered, both followership and leadership.
Wow.
However, where we are missing the point is this. Don't ever think that the election day, February 25, 2027, that's not the day I'm just saying, that is when you will change the narrative or that is when you pick your leader. No ways. As we speak now, what are Nigerians doing? They are dancing on TikTok. Meanwhile, the selection of the people that we go for election has started at the world level. You know what I'm talking about? The world level. On this table, how many of us are card carrier for any party?
Card carrying members.
Yes. How many? That is where it starts from, sir. So you don't wait until campaign. No. See, at campaign level, it's at Otilo.
It's already late.
It was already late.
And it's a daily process because the decisions they make affect.
Thank you. Do you go for meetings? Do you know if your local government, do you know your local government chairman? Do you know your councillor? Do you know what happens in your domain? If you don't know, you have no right. I'm saying it, quote me. You have no right to bash anybody on social media because when the process never compare.
No, you pay taxes. You have the right.
Listen, sir. Beyond tax, never. What's the English now? Never complain of the taste of the soup when you are absent to provide the ingredients in the kitchen.
Okay, let me give you an example. Just this morning, I read a story about a local government in Lagos, which chairman had to, step down, and the son of Lagos State Speaker stepped in.
Agege local government.
Thank you. So how do we deal with that?
You deal with that because that was a game plan from the onset. Don't be surprised.
Okay. So just to give us an example of how leadership pans out in Nigeria, the helplessness of the people. You asked a critical question. You said that Nigerians accomplices in their own oppressions. We've done protests. We rise, we vent all the time. Which other channel is available to make our points clear without being criminal about it? Finally, I'm going to wear my glasses for this one.
Very important.
Finally, you said, you asked a question, and this is my answer. I said, we saved ourselves. The Nigerians said yourself.
Yes.
So we saved ourselves by resolving to boreholes in the absence of running water by the government. We provide ourselves electricity in the absence or saying that the national grid is always collapsing. So we started buying solar power in homes and all of that.
I think we should change our coat of arms to a big adapter because we're very good at adapting.
Thank you.
You know, instead of confronting the issues, we would, keep pushing forward, and the politicians must really love the sorts of people they govern. Because at the end of the day, we even clap for them for the little things they do, that they will still slap their names on a project that is financed with taxpayers' money. Peter, this is a very important advocacy you've raised, and unfortunately, look at us on a place at the table. You've asked million-dollar questions that even the world's biggest think tanks and institutes would have to deliberate for days, but would give it our best attempt. And Elsie is not, I like what she said, that you need to find leaders, because she doesn't believe in the people, to a certain extent, the people deserve the sort of governments they get. But you can't cheat nature. It's garbage in, garbage out. Look at Japan. In the middle of the tsunami, people still stood in line. Still had dignity. Look at South Sudan. I have a friend that works with the Norwegian Refugee Council. She told me that in the tent, displaced people in South Sudan, they still have some level of dignity, even in their state of not having anything. They will still offer you coffee. We have such an entitlement mentality in Nigeria. People are lazy. You don't even know where to start from. Until a critical mass of the people change their ways from within, we need a man in the mirror moment until we tell ourselves the hard truth, and until we have many people act right, Nigeria will continue in its present.
Peter, Peter, we must stop praising people. People go to religious organizations and you are hailing them. Politicians steal your money, they come to your street and you are clapping for them. Now it is no longer jeep collector to jeep. You respect pastors according to the size of their jeeps. Now it is jeep collector to jeep. We must stop that nonsense.
So across board, we must preach accountability. I think it was the late literature professor Chinua Achebe who said things are falling apart and the center cannot hold. The question is, when the center caves, what happened to the components that should take stamina or stability from it? Everybody in Nigeria is struggling today because the centerpiece governance is not working. And trying to find your ways around it, getting boreholes, getting personal security is what has made the center continue to decay. Everybody must agree that you must fix leadership, and most importantly, fix the process through which you get your leaders, so you hold them accountable. If not, today's victims were yesterday's survivors, tomorrow's victims will be today's survivors, and it goes on and on. When we ask ourselves the questions and provide the answers from amongst us, from amongst ourselves, then we are ready to take ownership of our future.
I hear you, Peter. Unless, like some of us, you have started taking ownership of your future only to be frustrated by the CAC online portal. For Nigerians at large, the dream of starting a business now begins with a digital nightmare, the Corporate Affairs Commission's online portal, popularly known as CAC. What was supposed to be a beacon of efficiency and innovation has, for many, become a bottleneck of endless errors and technical frustration. The CAC's much-hyped digital transition was meant to make business registration faster and more transparent. Instead, it has delivered portal instability, login failures, website glitches, slow responsiveness, repeated downtime that cripple workflow, and even inaccuracy in registration information. As if that is not enough, private players are penalized for CAC's technological inadequacies. Uploading documents has become an Olympic sport, with users battling glitches that defy logic. Rather than gradual improvements backed by testing and user feedback, Nigerians were handed a new system rolled out with too much speed and too little empathy. And when things go wrong, customer service is either unavailable or unhelpful, leaving professionals stranded and clients disappointed. Delayed business registrations, unsettled filings, and financial losses for agents, lawyers, and entrepreneurs. The frustration burns time, drains productivity, and erodes public trust in an institution meant to promote formalization and transparency. Nigeria has unicorn companies. Our tech stars shine globally. There is definitely no question about our technological capacity as Nigerians. Why then are we surrounded by ocean, yet dying of thirst? How hard is it to deploy technology that can effectively handle the scope CAC covers? This is not sending a man to the moon or training AI models. It's about something far simpler: securely collecting, verifying, tracking, and storing data. That's all. Digital transformation is not about appearance. It's about delivering real value. CAC must pair innovation with reliability and stop this irony of a digital system that slows businesses down instead of setting them free.
I make bold to tell you that every system in Nigeria is structured to fail.
Oh my God.
Nigeria is configured not to do well. That is why any sector you talk about, whether health is not working, petroleum is not working, education is not working. You have a minister of education or a ministry of education, but you have 18 million out of school children. Reconcile it. The only systems that are doing well is corruption, crime, and criminality. And it's for a purpose. Because once systems like this work, it cuts corruption and brings transparency and accountability. In fact, somebody will manually disengage this system so that you will have to have a physical contact and something can change hands. Ask yourself the question. I wouldn't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Ask yourself the question, what happened? We thought that electronic technology was supposed to be the game changer for 2023 election. INEC received 313 billion, but somehow the day of election, there was a glitch. Is the glitch man-made of spiritual? So that is the problem. And when you have an important body, because not to undermine what you have stated, CAC is supposed to register businesses. And small and medium-scale enterprises are the heart of your economy. Nigeria is struggling because of a lack of productivity. So if the odds are stacked against you like this in beginning to even register a concept, imagine how much poverty we will rather duplicate because people are frustrated out. So that is how it cascades, and then it is duplicated in all sectors. So that is why in Nigeria they will tell you, shall get person, no person. In road safety, no person. For hospital, no person. Just for police, no person. Anywhere you are going in Nigeria, even if you have all the requisite documents or whatever is needed, no person, because you will need it. That's why when police stop you, say, okay, you have headlight, you have everything, or you claim say you get everything, Abi, where's your death certificate? You know, your advocacy reminds me of my experience and my frustrations when I wanted to correct my name on the NIN portal. That one works with the benevolence of the sun. They will tell you to go and fix it by yourself. They will give you the link, right? Okay. They'll say, madam, it's self-clinical, give it a name like that. That you should go and do self-help. Say, So you then take your phone, you press, it takes you to a point. Then it tells you to take a photo. That is where the problem is. You will never get past that problem. You go this way, you go that way, you go this. Look, I was on this matter for almost 2 years. Until somebody said to me, go to a local government, they will fix it for you. So I got there and they said, madam, stand like this. The sun was there. So they did like this, bingo. They took my photo. But you see, and then we did the processes that I had to take another photo again on that portal. The sun had gone down. Hey. So he said, the sun, madam, be quick. The sun is going down.
Who said this to you?
Do I look like I'm joking?
Oh my. Okay.
So then they positioned me.
It's sun activated.
It's sun activated. So they positioned me this way. They put light. They put light. The good thing was that I did it. And behold, I now have an NIN card.
Hallelujah.
So that's for a citizen to get registered in their country. This is what they are going through. So that speaks to the frustration you are talking about. And then we begin to talk about the ease of doing business. Like how? Why are they always asking for people's BVN?
So it's not just CAC. Even when
Across board.
even when you have collected that company, that you've registered that company, you now want to go and register that company, you want to get an account number for it. They'll tell you to go and bring all the BVNs of your directors. What is that?
I mean, the biggest indictment in all of this is that, Elsie, I'm sorry to tell you that you will have to do this advocacy for all MDAs and government agencies. Because it's not just the CAC problem. It's beyond the CAC problem. We have a service delivery problem in Nigeria, and there are implications to this. The reason why you put people in your civil service is not just to reduce unemployment levels. It's a very important and critical part of nation building.
Yes.
That's why the nation of Singapore, they put their best minds and they are well remunerated in the civil service. And the reason why they do this is because of this sort of failures and breakdowns, because you put people who are not qualified, who don't understand what they're doing there, just to make up numbers. Zero service delivery, zero consequences, no consequences. I mean, don't they have KPIs and scorecards? And they keep having, retreats, and the ministers keep using big words. We're looking towards a $1 trillion economy by 2030. And you can't fix basic things like this. It's really, really shameful. And it's because of no consequences. And the irony in all of this is that the agency that is meant to even oversee or provide some level of oversight, the Consumer Protection Agency, if you go to their website, I'm sure it's down or you see some problems.
Okay, so you write more petitions
from bad service delivery. Do we have standards? We can't continue to live like this. This is a nation, and you said it, and the most important part is that we have the tech capacity.
We do.
Look at what we've done in our banking sector. The United States is way behind when it comes to, we're doing per second, microsecond, transfers, same time transfers. Look at what the unicorns have done, but we're putting around holes and square pegs, and because of the system, person. That's why we've ended up in this mess.
You see, this is what happens when you outsource professionalism to family affairs. You have a proposer of somebody who has done this thing for years.
A track record.
You have a track record. But because you want to satisfy a political party member, oh yeah, Ejeka say is our child.
You save chop.
You save chop. That is number one problem. Do you know that? I agree with you. You have to do for agent. If you want to change your maiden name to your husband's name or international passport, you know that you will fly to Abuja 400,000 naira ticket. Are you aware?
That's one thing I'm not looking forward to.
Listen, tinted glass. They said we should do permit for tinted glass. Did you try it online? The moment step 1 we go, step 2 we go, step 3 go and take picture of your car. That's the end of that transaction. Glitch back. Do you understand what I'm saying? Then you are talking about banks. There are 2 banks. I won't mention your name now, but you are watching me, you know me. I've been to your headquarters twice. You've collected name, collected this email number, but every transaction, you will not send email. You will not send the text message. You will not, nothing. Why? Because, like he said, you are waiting for that physical contact so that money, chelete, in subtle language South Africa, can exchange hands. When are we going to stop this in 2025?
Water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. Oh, Nigeria, the land of excess potential, but not enough performance. God, when?
Elsie, where we fail to value what we have, others will intervene to save us from ourselves. But this comes with the caution, be careful what you wish for. For the last 2 decades, northern Nigeria has dealt with varying causes of death for its residents. The struggle for land and water shrinking with climate change, a challenge of illegal mining and displacement of people off their land to get access to gold plain criminality from bandits and kidnappers, and the religious attacks that have affected communities in the Middle Belt, Benue Plateau, and Taraba. Of course, carrying all these issues like a baby on his back is Nigeria's political class in the attempt to leverage its challenges for political gain. In January 2014, the current president tweeted, "The slaughtering of Christian worshippers is strongly condemnable. It calls to question the competence of Jonathan, the then president, to protect Nigerians." In 2022, the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, tweeted, "Among the recipients of the 2022 National Honor Awards, which I presented yesterday, is Imam Abdullahi Abubakar, a religious leader who hid over 262 Christians in his mosque from attacks in Yalawa Gindi Aquatic village in Plateau State, an inspiring example of religious tolerance. So when citizens are being killed and the government is silent, takes no action, and in some cases dismisses the tragedy, can we really blame those who believe the government is complicit?" In Simon Kolawale's words, "Still, genocide or no genocide, Nigeria desires and deserves to live in a society where they feel safe, secure, and happy. We would not be discussing genocide if the state had always demonstrated the capacity to protect the lives of its citizens, men, women, Christian, children, Muslims, animists, and atheists. But this major falling created the room for this narrative. The onus is on the state to step up its game and make Nigerians feel at home anywhere they are in the country. There must also be a deliberate, sustained, and effective program of peace building in the divided communities so that those utilizing the power of framing and selective perception will not have the last laugh. Instead of being angry with Trump, Nigerian leaders should take Nigerian lives seriously." Did we bring this monumental embarrassment upon ourselves?
Oh, yes, we did, because we could have nipped it in the bud. And then because if we weren't assimilating bandits and terrorists into the Nigerian army, the armed forces won't be where we are. I think successive presidents, not only President Tinubu, successive presidents have allowed this to fester till this point. And somebody said, no, if you're looking for the genocide of Christians in Nigeria, don't look at Lagos churches, because it's all glamour. Every week, every Sunday is glamour upon glamour. But the people in the heat of it know what they've been through. If you look at the Middle Belt and up north, you see that there's been a lot of casualties from terrorist attack. Even the West is not absorbed from these, because remember the attack on an Owo church, a church in Owo
St.
town.
Francis Xavier Catholic Church.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you see, there have been pockets in the West, but there have been sustained attacks in the North and the Middle Belt. The problem, just as you've said in this monologue, is the complicity of the states in not taking adequate action. Will President Trump really invade Nigeria? I don't think so, because it will be violating our sovereignty to come all the way.
Trump doesn't have any qualms in violating sovereignty.
No, he doesn't have qualms. I mean, he did that to Iran.
Yeah, and everywhere.
But at the end of the day, he's going to have to account for such an invasion. And when he invades, if he invades, is he dropping bomb on Kano, Kaduna, or Benue? Or is it coming to bomb Lagos? Or is it going to Southeast? So it's not as simple as it makes it to be. Because you cannot say, I'm coming to save you, and you're coming to make it worse. We remember what US did to Libya. But I stand to say you can't do that to Nigeria.
Iraq.
I like that you have said Lagos is not Nigeria. I always want people to remember.
No, it's not. Abuja too is not Nigeria.
Abuja is not Nigeria. Whatever city you are and you think that you're comfortable, you go to church and everything is fine, that's not where Nigeria starts and ends. Nigeria is big. Yeah. Nigeria is big, right? I think for me, on the lighter note, is just to tell our president, Tinubu, you know, when you've lived life and then you are able to see some things happening, some proverbs coming to life in your own time. Yeah. You know, when they say when you live in glass houses, you should not throw stones. All the stones that he threw
are back.
Yeah, back on him now, right? And we can see the evidences from his tweets that they're now deleted. It's quite interesting, but
What are those true?
He was in his advocacy.
Okay.
Anyway, I also do not think that, of course, the United States is going to come in guns a-blazing and what.
No, they can't.
There's so many. So when the CPC happens, there are so many processes that would happen until we get to that point.
Yes.
Sanctions. They also work with intelligence. I know that Trump can be erratic, right? But they have systems.
Yeah.
There are intelligence to gather.
They have more facts than you.
They know what is happening and they know where it is happening.
I disagree
right?
with you on that. They have facts, and then they didn't find the weapons of mass destruction.
They have
in
facts
in
Iraq.
and millions of people
Nigeria,
died
they
as a
have facts
result
more
of
than
that.
you.
I mean, that does not still undermine the fact that they have a lot of
They
information.
have
but they
a lot
can't
of
just invade
intelligence.
Nigeria
No,
like
of course,
that.
that's not the fact. They have a lot of intelligence.
Yeah.
And this designation did not just happen because he woke up one morning and decided to make it happen.
Yeah.
People petitioned for it.
Yes.
Bishops, church
Nigerians called for it. Yes.
called for it.
Yes.
So we need to understand that this is not just him waking up and thought, oh, which other country am I going to have fun right now, right?
You're right.
So I love what has happened. However, I'm very disappointed at our leaders. I've always been disappointed at our leaders anyway. But what is happening now, it just shows that they really do not care.
Yeah.
Because what has happened in the last 1 week?
They're
You have
showing
seen state of emergency on our police training college and our military. How many times have we talked about this as a country? In fact, I can remember far back as 5 to 6 years ago, I've had a report on this same issue. Nothing was done. So suddenly we have state of emergency on it.
Terribly shameful, and the entire Nigerian leadership should be horribly ashamed of themselves. Look, when a man's house is on fire, he does not determine where he gets help from to quench that fire. Where we are today is a consequence of the leadership and the same actions of people like the current president. And let us not misdirect our rage. President Trump did not say America is coming immediately to Nigeria. He gave an instruction. The Nigerian leadership should move fast. Gentlemen and ladies, our heat and pressure should be on the government to move fast.
Bam.
To end the killing.
Thank you.
So we are beginning
Not
to
on
talk
Trump.
about Trump coming guns blazing. What is the leadership doing? 3 days ago, they were in Bayelsa trying to port another governor to receive, because
The vice
that is what
president was there.
that is the
Who
vice
was
president
on
was there. So we have outsourced issues of security to other persons while government is more active in politicking. It is not just about saying that people are the government is not handling issues of terrorism. Is government seemingly taking actions that support it? In 2018, the first Nigerian Minister for Defense, General T.Y. Dajuma, stood on a podium in Taraba and said the military, they are not neutral. They collude with the terrorists. Nigeria's first Minister for Defense, till today, nobody investigated to know what exactly is happening. People are dying, people buried in mass graves.
Yeah.
What happened? Who was arrested and investigated for the killing of Deborah Yakubu Usman, Danfodio College of Education, Sokoto? The Redeemed Evangelist Eunice Olawale, who was slaughtered in Kubwa when she was doing a morning cry. How many persons were arrested? The vice president in that administration was a redeemed pastor. So when the government continues to take steps, and then again, it was the Tinubu APC that called for the intervention of America in the first place. In 2014, politicizing an issue of security under the Jonathan government. Today, about 10 years later, you have now held the seat.
That's what
so
I
I think my call and the pressure is on the Nigerian government. You have an instruction. If you can collect loan from America and the World Bank, please, you can take warning from them. Nobody should talk about the morality. Nigerians need help. The killing need to stop. Take their warning and move fast.
My pressure is on Nigerian citizens.
Yes.
Thank you for telling our leaders,
Yes.
Nigerian citizens. You know, I said our literacy level is very low. The way Nigerian thinks, especially on social media,
Yes.
what they're supposed to be hammering on, they'll be using it as a skit. Cruise. You don't
Is
understand.
this kids matter?
Yes. And what they are
People have to
supposed
live their lives.
No, Gbenga, they are not the national security.
When you come on social media, you treat real life.
We
Gbenga,
trivialize the issue.
people who are on social, do you know how many accounts are no longer active because some persons have died of probably police brutality that nobody knows about?
No.
After social media, there is real life.
Now, you said they are not national security. Can I ask you a question, sir? You schooled abroad. Can you compare how citizens over there are aware about their constitution compared to Nigeria?
How they engage.
Nigerians don't know nothing about their land.
I don't think
hold on.
American citizens know as much
I don't think
as
so.
about their country as
About their land?
Nigerians
I
do.
disagree.
But they are very involved in
They
their
are
governance.
very
They are very
involved.
involved
They are
in their
very
governance.
involved, sir. So Nigerian citizens
Yeah.
should do better. Put pressure on
Pressure
your
on your leaders.
That's it. Then let there be sanctions on these people. Now they say 12 12 governors have been profiled. They want to do this. Excuse me. Return their children back to Nigeria.
Yes.
Whatever school they are, bring them back home.
Revoke their visas.
Revoke their visas.
And pick up good meat.
Confiscate their properties.
Take their houses.
Yes. Yes.
Take their houses, take their properties. Listen, the way you dress is the way you shall be addressed. In Poland, they went there, they didn't destroy the place. People should stop go to history. Stop saying America will destroy you. They went to Germany, they went to Kuwait, they went to Japan. Hold on.
What happens to our sovereignty?
Hold on.
Which sovereignty? The sovereignty
we have
for 15 years.
Yes, sir. Grandpa,
did you
we have some
we have sovereignty? Libya was one of
let me finish. We have hold on. See, you are giving me Libya, I'm giving you Kuwait.
Yes.
You are giving me Libya, I'm giving you Japan.
Yes.
Up to today, they are in Poland. Excuse me, they are in different countries.
Yes.
That's why I said to you, the way you dress
is the way you be addressed.
Go
Yeah, but the agenda in Africa is always
different. Put pressure on your stooges.
Yes.
Okay. Your stooges.
And then both Muslims and Christians should be happy. Terrorists they want to take out.
Listen,
everybody should be okay that the criminals should be taken out.
The people that are babodeing for you, put pressure on them.
Okay, we have to go.
We have to go.
Yes. I mean, there's a lot to unpack here, but we can't. I want to respond, but I'll respond off camera.
With everything that we have, no basic amenities, no social security.
They say nature abhors.
Lagos is inside water. There's no pipe of water in any house.
We are sorry about that.
As they say, nature abhors a vacuum, and imported quick fixes often come with unwelcome side effects. Let's discuss our brothers in Libya. Let's take ownership of our challenges, since nation building implies that from the top to the bottom, you and I must put our nose to the grindstone. Are you ready? Then join us again, same time, same channel next week. Till then, it's goodbye from all of us. Bye-bye.